What's up, guys? Sub-Zeric here, back for another VOD review. Today, we had to do another YBY1 VOD review. If you guys missed my last VOD review, YBY1 hit rank 1 North America and rank 1 Vietnam at the same time. I don't know if there's another player who has that title of hitting rank 1 on 2 regions at the exact same time. If somebody else knows of another example from a previous set, I haven't been playing TFT forever, so maybe there's some like old set examples or maybe some recent set examples that I'm not aware of. Let me know, but that is an incredible accomplishment, and I felt like I had to VOD review YBY1 just to see how he got here. All right, prismatic options here. Gonna reroll the left one pretty much immediately there. I didn't know, was that the Radiant Eyes one or something else? In any case, YBY1 not that interested in it. Doing a quick scout around to see. We roll the middle one as well. We get the ZZ Rot one, so it's basically the one that gives you a ZZ Rot, which gives it's extra like a damage or attack speed or something. Attack speed, yeah, and Omnivamp, or just the Pandora's option. It'll be interesting to see. And ooh, wow, he grabs this option immediately. Actually, I haven't had a chance to take this yet. This set, but it really seems like this is something YBY1 rates very highly. I wanted to actually pull up the one. Oh, that's interesting. I was gonna say this augment is called Void Swarm. I was just gonna see what. Okay, so according to Dish Soap's tier list, according to TFT Academy, Dish Soap ends up rating it as an A tier augment. These are some interesting item slams as well. He ended up going for. Let's actually just go back and look at the items from just straight up. Yeah, so from the perspective of like we're thinking about playing towards AP this game, I would say with the ZZ Rot slam, and we can talk about that in a sec later. I like the slams a lot. You get the Steadfast Heart, which is a really good way when you're playing into AP to kill the glove by making by Steadfast, like turning the glove into a tank item, just because you don't really want Steadfast Heart when you're playing into AP. And the Nashers is the next natural slam. It leaves the tier open for a mana item, and it gives you a yeah, just a. I mean, it's kind of half of a mana item in some ways, but yeah, this is a cool setup. So. Then to the idea of playing towards a AP. I mean, I do feel like, and we'll see what we end up playing towards this game, but I fully expect this to be a Black Rose Visionary game. This is a comp that we talked about in the VOD review a few days ago, where some players are playing this and like playing a lot of it and using it as their primary way to climb. And I would say that I peeked at YBY1's match histories on both Vietnam and Americas, or North America. I want to say Americas because I want to include, but it's like, no, this is just his games on North America. But he has a lot of games on this comp. This is the comp he plays his most by far. It makes sense for someone like YBY1 to be playing this Black Rose Visionary comp because it's a very fast 8, fast 9 version of the comp. It's all about just having a solid early game and then a ton of econ and transitioning that into a really high cap board, which is exactly what YBY1 likes to do when he plays TFT. He likes to play strong early game, slam items, and just have a really good, easy, straightforward way to play the game. Speaking of which, we're going to sell off a couple of units here, hold on to just the Amumu and the Vander here, selling our Bruiser frontline. It's kind of interesting because we end up losing out on, of course, the Enforcer on this board, but we do just get better, we get an upgraded unit in the Amumu, and we also get to make 10 gold, which is really nice. You kind of, the reason that YY1 did this is he knew he had to make 10 gold this round, and so he had to choose, is he going to hold on to these Watchers or is he going to hold on to the Bruisers? And the idea is, well, we have a 2-star Amumu, why not hold on to these guys? There's also maybe some ideas of like later down the line we can pick up like a Scar or something like that. All right, tier open here with this. So we're looking, I would think, for a way to finish mana item. Wow, no, it's actually the Nunu that gets picked up here. Huh? I would have really thought that he was just going to grab a blue buff there, with the idea be that can go into Heimer late game. But no, he goes for the Nunu here with Giant's Belt. Yeah, this actually really surprised me. He leaves these items open, and so it's going to be harder for him to reach blue buff this game, but maybe he's not that worried about blue buff. I don't know. We'll see. I was going to say, maybe, oh, he wanted the Nunu because it's a Visionary, but no, we immediately sell the Nunu. I mean, it is the highest cost there, and Giant's Belt is by no means a bad component. It can lead to some really solid tank items and, maybe a heal cut item in like a Morello or something. But yeah, it's an interesting pickup. And it's also just very solid onto the Zamumu too here. But I doubt that's the reason that he took it. I mean, it could also perhaps be that he's just saying, you know what, a blue buff onto Maddie, she is really not going to do that much at the end of the day. Ooh, this is a cool little board pivot here. He picks up the Echo and he's like, I really want to be able to play around this Echo on my board, and I need someone to hold on to this Gnasher's Tooth. And AP carry like Echo is actually going to do a much better job of that than this Maddie, who isn't going to make that much usage of the AP. And we can now scrap this tier. It's going to be a Shojin onto Echo. If you ever get to 6 scrap, you can guarantee that it's always a Hodge, which is pretty cool. But obviously, we are very unlikely to get to 6 scrap this game. And yeah, it looks like he's scouting around the team builder, getting an idea. But we'll see. Wow. I mean, honestly, it could be a 6 scrap game. We already have a Corki and Neko. That's kind of insane. We did end up losing those earlier scrap units, and the only downside to playing 6 scrap, of course, is that we don't have a lot of the scrap units. It looks like YBY1 doesn't rate the comp that highly, though. If he thought that 6 scrap was really broken, he would probably be like holding more onto this kind of stuff. But yeah, he's immediately going to sell the Corki. And also, these items really make it kind of awkward to play for 6 scrap. So I think this makes sense. Pick up the Kog'Maw here. I'm going to make all of our slams here. Look at these Kog'Maw items: Shojin, Archangels, and Nashor's Tooth. These are fantastic items, and the Kog'Maw can hold the items really, really well, and he fits beautifully onto the board. I mean, I can't say for sure that YBY1 was always thinking this, but like I talked about, the Watchers have good synergy with the Zeri, and then the Kog'Maw has really, really good synergy with the Amumu. So if YBY1 was thinking just from the start, I really want to find an AP item holder, so I'd rather hold on to the Amumu rather than this Bruiser front line, because Kog'Maw synergizes more with the Amumu. I mean, that's a great thought from YBY1 so early on into the set as well. All right, we immediately roll over Sniper +1. I still don't. I'm not convinced that YBY1 wants to play a Kog'Maw game from here, but we'll see. Maybe he will. But he's not that interested in Sniper +1. This augment, I think this is the prismatic one, right? That gives you a prismatic orb at the next minions and makes your orbs better. Yeah, the exclamation point, I think, means that. But yeah, this is one that I think a lot of people rate like really, really highly. We have no augment stats, of course, but I think by the way that people talk about this, I think augment stats would probably put it as like a 4.1. Those are the vibes I get. Those are literally vibe-based augment stats. But a lot of people are rating this augment very highly, and so for YBY1, it's an insta pick, which makes sense. I think they are actually nerfing this augment next in the patch that the Macau Open's gonna be played on, the one that's coming in a couple of weeks at this point. So play it while you can, I would say. But yeah, I mean, we have our triple damage items figured out already. These items actually, like the spot looks really, really nice, and the Kog'Maw is holding them very, very well. I remember, like I talked about, YBY1 loves to play just his strongest board and just play good TFT. Gonna sell off the Darius here. He was holding on to the Darius for a second, so I don't know, maybe thinking about playing into some. Wow, oh my god, Vander 2 and a Garen here. That is disgusting. You can't even really fit it on the board without. I mean, you could cut. Yeah, I mean, you could just do this. I mean, I think this is quite solid. You end up just cutting the Firelight for a second here and just getting 4 Watcher in here. Move the items to the Garen because he's going to make the rest of our frontline tanky with that extra Giant's Belt, and he's just, you know, a great tank in a spot like this. So wow, I mean, if he wanted to play Kog'Maw reroll, this would be a good spot. It'll be cool to see how YBY1 wants to play this game, because obviously we could play Kog'Maw reroll here. We have a lot of the pieces towards playing it. But we could also not. We could also not play Kog'Maw real here. All right, Giant's Build to open here. I mean, Redemption is solid. Warmugs is solid. You could take the Morellos if you really want to get to heal cut. Probably just gonna grab the Warmugs here, right? Yeah, it looks. Oh wait, he actually couldn't grab it. He takes Cloak. I was going to think actually that if he didn't grab this Warmugs here, he was just gonna take the Sunfire. But he seems really unconcerned with building heal cut. You know, he could have, like I said, gone for Sunfire here, but maybe the idea is that we're not going to have someone really good to hold on to that Sunfire late game. We already have the Garen, like we talked about, who is a really, really nice holder. When I talked about this comp initially, you know, the Black Rose version, we talked about the Garen version of the comp where you play Garen as essentially your +1. You turn him into a super tank. You use him to just get a really solid front line. One thing that I didn't talk about in the video that has been mentioned, of course, is that like when you give Garen HP, he gives the rest of your frontline HP. So if you take the Anomaly that gives him 1000 HP, he's also buffing up the rest of your frontline, which is really, really nice. Wow, Scar 2 here. I mean, will we ever even play around Black? I mean, the spot looks so good to play Kog'Maw. I mean, I would almost, at this point, be surprised if he doesn't play Kog'Maw. Scar 2 here already. Very, very solid Kog'Maw items. You tend to really want like an Archangels onto him, which we have. I was going to say you really want a Gunblade on him as well, which is the only thing that we're missing here. But I mean, these items are perfectly serviceable in the Kog'Maw. As you can see, he's putting in a ton of work. And oh, this unit is so satisfying to watch, especially in 2x speed. So I don't know. I love Kog'Maw. This is one of my favorite units. All right, we are gonna get this Prismatic Orb here, which I think will also, you know, change the course of our life a lot here. Gonna level for the Echo, of course, just because he's a really nice addition to this board. But we'll see. This guy going into a Moo 3, and what is this? Automata +1. He's got it on an Automata Quick Striker reroll. It's really strange. There's the Prismatic Orb. It was 2 Ornn items, okay, and a support item. My God, he's gonna take Gem here. There's a lot of good stuff here. Oh my god, he's also got basically a Warmog's Declaw to finish items off. I'm not actually sure what we're gonna go for. If we were to play like the Black Rose board, I don't actually know how good Trench Coat is in this comp. I'm curious to see. And then there's also, yeah, the Locket to just gen more mana. I mean, you could even take Mana Zane for like a backliner, but yeah, and he is gonna grab the Mana Zane here. And then this has to be Trench Coat, right? The other options. I mean, Light Shield, I guess, is not too bad. But okay, yeah, gonna finish these items. Gonna move these items onto Echo. So Echo is our duo carry with Mana Zane Trench Coat. This is pretty sick here. Just get this Echo casting a bunch. Wow, and when he that was really cool. The split into the Firelight Dash. That was sick. Also not actually, okay, yeah, now he's gonna make 2-star. All right. Picks up the extra Z Route portal off the augment. All right, and what do we want here? We have Spell Crit, which is something that we lack, and Armor Marshed, which is something that we lack. I like this a good bit. Certainly never gonna take this augment. So yeah, I actually like this augment a lot in this spot here. It would have been kind of interesting to see the augment that gives you the extra armor MR, the bulwark augment, and then you could buff up these easy routes. I'm actually pretty surprised he didn't take it, thinking about that. But I guess the value of just these stats onto Kog'Maw is too great. Also, we're seeing something kind of interesting here. I think this is just a fast 9 from YBY1 with the idea that, like, with the Garen that I've hit this early and with, you know, solid items onto Echo, I can actually just go fast 9 in this spot. I mean, look at this. We're fighting a family reroll board, and the Kog'Maw 1 is just chewing through the board. Yeah, and the Echo really is the main star of the show, actually. Wow. A 7,000 damage from that Echo. That's crazy. But yeah, it's actually, like I talked about, YBY1 loves this type of playstyle. Oh, ooh, okay, we're going to roll a little bit on 8. This is okay. So how much on 8 are we gonna roll? I mean, at this point, it looks like almost that. Like, it was kind of interesting because he didn't roll 4-2, but now he's rolling here with the idea. Okay, you know, maybe my board's not strong enough to just go straight up level 9. We don't really have that many upgrades on this board. I mean, this would be a very daring fast 9 if he tried to go for it. But I mean, he's still winning fights. Oof, though he's just barely gonna lose this fight. He got sniped. He got sniped by this Caitlyn, I think. Is the way that his backline died. That's so rough, but okay. I mean, the gem tech with the double ZZ Rots is great. The ZZ Rots are just super, super tanky. And then the gem just for long fights here. We have slammed everything but a sword. So we're looking at what, like a BT for like a frontliner later. An IE? The hell? Okay. All right. So I'm on YBY1's wild ride at this point. We pick up a Heimerdinger. Tends to be a unit that you want to fit on this board. You know, the unit that you end up playing for and playing for more visionaries. Gonna get, ooh, look at this, a 4 emissary setup. Oh, so this is something that I think more people have started playing towards recently is 4 emissary. Usually you'll fit a Korkian. The idea is, let's see, I'm gonna try to remember the board. It's 4 emissary. You fit Corki, you fit Gangplank, and then there's an extra unit that you fit in. There's like a Watcher that you fit in. Oh, I think Swain Vladimir maybe, and it like makes the synergies look really, really pretty. But we have a Heimerdinger on this board as well, actually. Yeah, maybe the traditional version doesn't fit Heimer. I'm trying to remember actually, because there's, I mean, this is a cool board already though. He's putting actually Echo in the Anomaly. Once again, it's going to be hard for me to translate all of these, so I think I'm just going to translate the one that he takes. Is that 20 mana on 25 mana on kill? I think so, right? I think, yeah. And he's looking at that one. Yeah. Okay, well, I at least knew that one. So that's the kind of like Axiom Arc type one. Tends to be a fantastic one for Chimeran. Ooh, the Malzahar pickup is huge. Look at this flex roll down. I mean, I'm kind of blown away by this game. The flex into 4 emissary to play on this board. 4 emissary Heimerdinger. We get Visionary in with the Rel, who is just a Rel, right? We don't have Sentinel in for her, but she's also Conqueror for the Ambessa. It's just such a cool flex board. And then we find random Echo 2, and Echo 2 is just sitting on this board as just 2 Firelight. We don't have an Ambusher in for him. We don't have Scrap in for him, but he's just Echo here. Like, this is such a cool board. We're barely going to lose this fight. So I feel like we do have to start cooking with gas soon and get to our board. But this is such a cool flex board. 46 HP, saved a lot of HP this game. But I mean, we're going to play around the Echo, I imagine. He decided to get the Malzahar in. Wait, how did we? Wait, yeah, we just did. We ended up cutting the Rel for Malzahar, saying we have enough front line, and we really just want to get Malz onto this board, which makes sense. Holding on to the Blitz. What the hell? Okay. I mean, I'll watch. What is that? Oh my god. Okay, YBY1 is a beast. I mean, sometimes you just got to give it to him. Gonna make the Edge of Night here and then Ionic Spark. I would. Well, I guess we actually have the spell crit augment, yeah. So Adaptive Helm JG looks even better with the Mana Zane, and all of a sudden we are back in business. All right, I won't say he's not a bit of a high roller for this setup, but I love how Flexi played this game. I mean, Obviously, yeah, he flexed into the fact that he hit a Malzahar 2 on level 8, which is disgustingly high roll. But I think if he had not flexed this board, this 4 emissary board, we would be so much less HP and so much weaker here, even on the mouse too. I think there are a lot of, good TFT players, a lot of okay TFT players who, would not be able to flex this board. They would actually hit mouse 2 here. And I've seen people lose with mouse 2 just because their front line sucks. I've played against him in my ranked games. And so the fact that YBY1 managed to put this board together, he's got the Echo 2 on the board with the trench coat and the Edge of Night just being really, really annoying. Like, this is such a cool setup, actually. And yeah, this mouse 2 is doing an insane amount of work. But yeah, I mean, the question now is just how do we cap the board? Are we going to play 4 emissary forever? Are we going to pivot into some other version of the board? Like I was talking about the Black Rose variation of the board. It's really cool to see this different version of the board where the only thing that's really like staying the same between this and the Black Rose version is we have a Heimerdinger and we have a Malzahar on our board, of course. But at that, it's just 4 emissary with an Echo and a Scar to flex the board. I don't know. I'm just blown away by how cool this board is. And the Heimerdinger with the Rocket's actually doing a lot of work. I was about to say something really like completely insane and be like, he doesn't even really need the Malzahar. And obviously the mouse is doing a lot of work, but he actually would have won. Like, these fights are not close. So a lot of these fights he actually didn't need the Malzahar for, but some of them he definitely will need the Malzahar for later. Maybe my glazing is a bit too much to say, oh, he high rolled, but it's like not even high roll because he didn't need to. Maybe that's a bit much. All right. Morello onto the Echo here. It's a bit rough because you would love Morello to be on this Malzahar here, but the question is then, like, what would you put onto the Echo? I guess it would have to be JG, which doesn't sound that bad. But maybe this just goes to show like the level that YBY1's thinking at, that he knows that this mouse is getting a lot of casts off and that he is actually doing a very significant amount of damage. So why would we move that JG over? We could just throw the Morello onto frontline and still get a lot of value out of it. And also the JG has really, really good synergy with the augment, right? The Malzahar, when he spell crits, is shredding everyone, which is really, really nice. He finally has the Ambessa 2 here. We talked before about the value of Ambessa with this trench coat. I wonder if we're ever going to move over this trench coat off of Echo and onto the Ambessa. I mean, the Echo looks like he's cleaning up a lot as well, but I feel like the Edge of Night, the stats just tend to be a lot better onto the Ambessa. So we will see here. This is quite a scary board. This is just a Black Rose flex board, not really the Visionary version. This is actually the Silco plus Elise version, which is, a fun version. Get to play on the Silco unit who doesn't see that much play basically outside of exactly that version of the comp or like a Chembaron cash out. Whoa. We're surely not going to do that just for Automata, right? YBY1, that seems a bit crazy here. But okay, he thought about it for a second. I mean, maybe a level for 4 Watcher, but that also seems crazy. A lot of damage items here, but I mean, not a drop to drink. I guess you could go something like Gunblade, and the idea would be you can move some of the other items over to Ambessa here. He's going to go GS and move the items over to Ambessa. Okay, so GS, with the idea being that who cares about Ambessa healing? Like, I was thinking, you'd like a healing item onto your AD tank, but like Ambessa, the way to win fights with this comp is not with Ambessa living. Ambessa living the entire time is not our win condition. Ambessa is kind of a secondary carry here, so go for a damage item instead of healing item. Yeah, that makes so much sense. I mean, it's just perfect. He's just playing really, really good TFT. It's so cool to watch. All right, let's level up here. Garen 2 is a fantastic pickup. The Rumble tends to fit nicely onto boards like this, though we don't even have Sentinel form here, so it's just scrap here. But I mean, just scrap is still just scrap. A scrapped glove onto this Echo, if he can roll a Hodge, is great. I mean, most of the stuff that he can roll here is quite nice. Yeah, I mean, and the Hodge is fantastic. So makes sense. We're going to rotate in the Black Rose player again. They are LeBlanc 2, Malz 1 at this point. But look at this Heimerdinger and the Malzahar go. Wow, it's not even close, actually. Yeah, this version is so sick, and it's a flex version. All right, another ZZ Rot's portal picked up here. I can see why YBY1 likes this augments now so much. He's just getting so much combat strength out of these huge ZZ Rot portals. Yeah, this is actually nuts. Just how much value he's getting from it. Yeah, and another after every 11 player combats. I think if they nerf this augment, they'll probably take out the third ZZ Rot, but I mean, still, it's doing a lot of work here. Scion, really, really tanky here. This is probably the scariest fight we've had so far. It looked rough because the Mundo walked straight into our backline here, so yeah, we end up losing that fight. The Black Rose +1, though, it's really, they already had one, right? They could play. That's potentially 7 Black Rose for that player, right? Or am I crazy? Picks up the Giant Slayer for the Echo, so just super Giant Slayered all up and just going to continue to roll down here. Yeah, oh, that's 7 Black Rose here. We just have to to try to keep Scion away from our board, actually, and just buy enough time, and also the rest of the front line over. Okay, we do full swap to the left side here, which looks pretty good from a positioning standpoint. Hopefully the Scion just doesn't wreak havoc onto our board here. Mordekaiser are all pretty scary. Mal's casting a lot. Our Garen's lasting a long time. We get to the Ascension. Oh, but Hyper can't get there. Down to 18 HP. I mean, what can we look for here? An upgrade for the Rumble here is not bad. We're holding on to the Vladimir here. He's going to fully frontline all this stuff. And ooh, what is this positioning? Just to make sure that Mal's and Heimerdinger focus down the same unit on the left side at the same time. Also, full right side for this Ambessa here, just to try to buy as much time as possible, just to eat aggro here, dash into the middle. Then she's going to split up. She's got these Edge of Knights that are going to buy time as well. And it was perfect, actually. The Ambessa bought so much time, and the units on the left side, the Visionaries focusing down everybody, it worked out perfectly. Great positioning swap from YBY1, and just a really, really nice played game in general. That was a beautiful game. Obviously hitting Malzahar too high roll, but everything else beautifully played, and I love, love, love the flex play for playing this this four the four emissary board with the Visionary. It's just not something I've seen anybody do. Playing around this Echo too that he hit the entire game, just really, really nice. And also understanding that, you know, he hit something like a Corki, but he realized the Corki isn't actually a high roll. Like, I'm not going to play towards the Corki, even though I think a lot of people would get baited by that. So beautiful game from YBY1, shows why he has hit rank 1 in 2 regions at the same time. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please like, comment, and subscribe. Self-plug, Medify 30% off still going on. Check it out. Link in the description down below. Biggest sale of the year. So if you want coaching, you only got a couple more days to grab it. All right. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.